your toe.
I want you to say you're sorry.
Oh, that's fucking rich.
At the beginning of the story, we are introduced to Neil, who is an art student. Today, everyone in her class is assigned the task of creating a model painting. Meanwhile, Neil keeps looking repeatedly at a boy named Lucky, who is the most talented student in the class. Everyone is highly impressed by his art. However, whenever Lucky looks at her, Neil quickly turns her eyes away and tries to act as if she was doing nothing. After class, she meets her best friend, Sky, who actually lives with her in the same apartment, although they have separate rooms. At night, Neil is in her room working very hard to complete the day's project because she wants to make it unique and stand out. However, she struggles to do so. Then, she hears Sky's voice from outside. When she gets up to check, she sees that Sky and her boyfriend are spending time together. Seeing this, Neil wishes that she could also spend a day like this with someone special. Feeling lonely, she returns to her project. In the morning, everyone's paintings are displayed in front of the class. Unfortunately, everyone only criticizes Neil's art.
This just looks like something a 16-year-old girl painted in her mom's basement.
Even the professor tells her that if she does not create something unique and better, she will be left behind and might even fail. Neil feels terrible about this because she had truly worked hard. Feeling down, she sits alone outside the college and starts drawing some sketches. Lucky, who is standing far away, is watching her. He understands that she is disappointed with what happened in class today. Therefore, he approaches her and comforts her by saying that she has the potential to do well, she just needs to think a little differently. He then tells her that there is a party at his friend's house today. He suggests that if she comes, her mind will feel refreshed, and maybe she will get an idea to paint something new. Neil is very happy to hear this and immediately says yes. However, she does not know how terrible this hurried decision will turn out to be in the future. She is about to find out. As soon as evening arrives, Neil starts getting ready. She chooses a beautiful dress and happily prepares herself. Seeing this, her friend Sky asks her if she likes the boy. Neil blushes, and her silence reveals everything. She is genuinely happy because she believes a good boy is finally entering her life, something she has been waiting for. Sky gives her a lot of advice on how she should behave at the party. Keeping all these things in mind, Neil arrives at the party. Many people from her college are already there, and some of her classmates are a little surprised to see her, knowing that Neil rarely talks to anyone in college. Anyway, she stays there for a long time until Lucky approaches her. He is the only person she knows a little better here, even though she had only met him once before he invited her to this party. The two of them talk for a long time and have a few drinks. Then, Lucky offers to show her his private paintings. Neil gets very excited and goes with him. Lucky has indeed created some very good paintings. However, behind the talented artist hides a beast, a darkness that Neil realizes too late. At first, Lucky pretends to be nice to her. But soon, Neil feels that things are getting out of hand, and she tries to get away from him. Ultimately, she is left with only one regret: why did she ever come here? Lucky violently assaults her. Then, in her devastated condition, he callously pushes her out of the house. Neil is completely shattered. The joy with which she arrived is completely gone. In her despair, she goes to a pool and tries to jump in to kill herself. But unfortunately, she is unable to go through with it. After sitting in the pool for many hours, she finally returns to her room. She is so numb that she doesn't even realize when morning arrives. When Sky sees her looking so sad in the morning, she asks about last night's party. Suspecting that something bad might have happened there, Sky keeps pressing her for answers. Neil hugs her, cries bitterly, and then tells her the whole truth. She explains that she liked Lucky a lot, which is why she agreed to go to his house party. But there, she found out how terrible her choice was. He treated her so horribly that now she feels unable to face anyone. However, Neil declares that she will definitely complain to the professor so that he can take strict action against Lucky. But Sky knows that no one in this society cares about such incidents. Because Neil went to his house willingly, Sky warns her that no one will listen to her. Instead, everyone will try to find fault in Neil's actions. Sky advises her to forget all this and move forward. Neil somewhat understands Sky's point, so she goes to college quietly. Even though she wants to tell someone, she feels silenced. While Neil is sitting in class, Lucky walks in, acting completely normal, as if he hadn't done anything like that last night. Seeing this makes Neil furious, and she decides to go straight to Chancellor Linda. Neil tells the Chancellor everything. However, Linda starts questioning Neil instead, asking, "Did you go to his house on your own?" Neil has no answer to this, and she ends up being blamed for the incident. Defeated, she walks out of the office, believing that Sky was right all along. No one here is going to listen to her. While she is on her way back, she receives a message from Lucky, asking her to come to his house. Neil thinks that perhaps he is calling her to apologize for his mistake. Because of this, she decides to go. But when she arrives, Lucky behaves exactly the same way, as if absolutely nothing happened. On the contrary, he casually hands her a canvas. Neil tells him that she only came because she thought he was going to apologize to her. But Lucky cruelly replies that it all happened because she was ready for it and that she liked it. Hearing this, Neil slaps him.
Go fucking read me a Jezebel article.
Immediately after this, a physical fight breaks out between the two, because Lucky did not like being slapped. During the fight, Lucky tries to force himself on her again. In self-defense, Neil gives him a slight push. This push causes him to fall from a height, and he is killed instantly.
Crazy!
When she sees his dead body, she panics and runs away. The next day, when the police arrive, they initially think it was just a tragic accident. However, one officer suspects foul play. Because of this, he checks Lucky's phone. He discovers that the last message was sent to Neil, inviting her to his home. Naturally, the direct suspicion shifts to Neil. The officer goes to meet her after college to ask a few questions. He asks if she went to Lucky's house. Neil answers yes. She tells the officer that Lucky wanted to talk to her, but then he tried to make out with her. She claims that she didn't want to do that, so she left and came back home. She adds that she doesn't know what happened to him after that. The officer believes her. But before leaving, he gives her his card and says that they might need her again. He tells her to contact that number if she wants to tell them anything else. After returning home, Neil is very upset about the police investigation. She does not know what to do because she doesn't even have the option to run away. Meanwhile, while doing research, she finds out about a similar case. Actually, 3 years ago, a girl named Sumi experienced a very similar incident. Sumi had gone to a party at the behest of a boy. There, a group of boys did wrong by her. They even recorded footage of the assault, which went viral throughout the entire college. At that time, Sumi registered a formal complaint with the police. But in the end, the police let those 3 boys go, claiming that their faces were not clearly visible in the footage and that it could have been someone else. The police suggested that Sumi was just accusing these boys to vent her anger. After reading all this, Neil feels incredibly bad, wondering what Sumi must have gone through. Therefore, she decides that she will talk to Sumi about this tomorrow. She wants to understand how Sumi gathered the courage to survive that period. The next day, when Neil meets her, she asks about the case. However, Sumi refuses to tell her anything or talk to her about it. She explains that she has moved past those things and does not want to remember that time ever again. As Sumi tries to leave, Neil stops her and confesses that the exact same thing happened to her. She explains that this is why she wants to know how Sumi handled all those things. Hearing this, Sumi stops. Then, the two of them sit down together. Sumi begins to tell her story. Those 3 boys were her classmates and very close friends. She used to share everything with them. Sometimes she used to flirt playfully, but because they were friends, she thought it was fine. But one day, they called her to a party. What they did there was a disgusting betrayal in the name of friendship. The 3 of them did something that a girl never forgets in her life, and Sumi admits she has never been able to forget those things either. Sumi says, "I also filed a report with the police, but they later let those boys go, saying their faces were not visible properly in the video. That day I was very angry, and I also felt pity for myself, questioning why God made me a girl." Later, Sumi joined a rehab center, which gave her a lot of help to move forward. Inspired by this, Neil also joins that rehab center so that she can learn some positive things and forget her bad experiences as soon as possible. But Neil notices some other things going on there. She starts feeling like the girls there have already given up and consider themselves weak. When Neil tells everyone about the incident that happened to her, the group leader simply says that whatever happened, she should forget it and have faith in God. The leader assures her that whoever did that to her will eventually be punished for it. Neil disagrees and says that if they leave everyone unpunished until divine justice arrives, God knows how many more girls these men will continue to harm. She insists that they will have to take action against it. But the girls there do not have the courage because they are afraid of society. They are afraid that if they tell anyone about this, people will make their videos viral, and then no one will even talk to them. Seeing this, Neil decides that she cannot just sit quietly and trust God. She will have to do something herself. So, she gets ready and goes after her first victim, whose name is Henry. He was the first of the 3 boys who had wronged Sumi. Neil disguises herself for a party and goes to his house. She hides in plain sight and sits near Henry. He doesn't pay much attention to her at first, but gradually, he starts getting close to her. He even takes her to his room, where they both get very close. But before anything happens, Neil makes a drink for Henry and secretly mixes poison into it. She gives it to him to drink, and she sits there watching until he dies in absolute agony. When the police find out about this, they investigate the scene, and it turns out to look like a drug overdose. This is because many people at the party stated that Henry was very drunk that day. When Neil returns home, she feels a strange new peace inside her. But there are still 2 people left. Now it is Nolan's turn. Neil stands guard outside his house. As soon as he reaches his room after meeting his friends, she follows him and lies to him, claiming she is his new neighbor and just wants to talk to him for a while. Nolan agrees. But when they both go inside, Neil starts getting intimate with him. She makes Nolan so comfortable that he completely loses control of his guard. Taking advantage of this, she violently hits his head against the bathroom basin, killing him right there. In the meantime, a police officer arrives at the house to ask Nolan questions about his friend Henry's death. But when he sees Nolan's dead body, he is shocked and wonders who is doing all this. The officer realizes this is no accident, so he speeds up his investigation. Meanwhile, Neil is already looking for her third prey, Tony. After going for a run, Tony goes to take a shower. Neil sneaks up behind him with a heavy hammer. But this time, as soon as she attacks Tony, they both start fighting fiercely. Tony nearly suffocates Neil, but she manages to get the hammer back. With all her might, she hits him on the head, killing him. With the deaths of all 3 friends, chaos spreads throughout the whole town. Everyone is shocked. But the girls at the rehab center are very happy because they know these were the same guys who had assaulted Sumi. But now the problems for Sumi have increased. When the police open the old files to look for connections, Sumi's name comes up. They immediately go to her house and start interrogating her. Sumi very politely asks them, "Where were you when I was being tortured? I don't want to talk about those animals." Saying this, she closes the gate in their faces. Watching from afar, Neil is very happy. Feeling victorious, she invites a male friend named Joe to her house so that they can have a good time. Joe tries to get close to her, and initially, Neil doesn't have a problem with it. But as soon as he comes close, the traumatic memories of her assault flash back. She panics, pushes him back, and asks him to go. Meanwhile, she hears her friend Sky crying. She rushes to the kitchen and sees that Sky is cutting her own hand. Neil tells her to stop and frantically asks for the reason. Sky tearfully confesses that what happened to Neil has also happened to her. She explains that whenever she remembers that day, she tries to kill herself. Neil asks her to share the whole story, but Sky refuses to tell her anything. Determined to find out the truth, Neil goes to the university and starts checking some old disciplinary files. She finds a file with Sky's photo, but the name written on it is Daisy. Neil understands that something incredibly bad happened to her, which is why she changed her name. In that file, the photo is undeniably hers, and every page tells her tragic story. According to the police report, Skye was labeled as mentally disordered, which led to both culprits being released without charges. Because of this, Skye was forced to live with guilt and pain forever. Neil steals the file from the university and starts studying it at home. She also reads about the case on the internet. Suddenly, Skye walks into the room. She doesn't realize what Neil is doing because Neil quickly hides the file on the spot. Neil has now found out what her next job is. She discovers the identity of Skye's attacker, a man named Calvin. She searches for his house on Google and sees that he now has a family. But this doesn't matter to her. She feels she is carrying the souls of all the girls who have had bad things happen to them. She cleverly sabotages Calvin's car and calls him outside. When he comes out, she attacks him and knocks him unconscious. She doesn't kill him instantly because she wants to give him a painful death. Therefore, she takes him to the college baseball ground and ties him to a chair. When Calvin regains consciousness, Neil is standing in front of him holding the police photos that show the wounds on Skye's hands and feet. Calvin immediately understands that this is happening because of that old case. Desperate, he tells her that he has changed and that he has a family now. Meanwhile, a security guard patrolling outside finds blood near the gate. He informs the police immediately. But by the time the police arrive, Neil stabs Calvin in the neck, killing him, and she runs away from the scene. After this murder, the police trace the connection to the old case and go straight to Skye's apartment, who is eating something. They start asking her questions related to the Calvin case. Panicked by the police presence, Skye runs away. Skye knows exactly who is behind this. She remembers seeing blood on Neil's clothes last night, which she initially thought might have been a spilled drink. But when she checked those clothes again, she saw they were covered in blood, and she found her own old case photos in Neil's room. When Neil returns, the two confront each other. Skye is terrified and angry, telling Neil that she started everything all over again. Skye cries that she was trying to forget these things, but now the police are coming to interrogate her, and Calvin's death will bring everything to light. Neil tries to calm her down, explaining that nothing like this will happen to her, and promises that she herself will surrender to the police to protect Skye. But the next morning, when Neil goes to Skye's room, she is devastated to see that Skye has killed herself. Skye left a note nearby in which she wrote that when the police don't do their job, people have to take the law into their own hand. Heartbroken, Neil decides not to tell anyone the truth. In fact, because of the note, the police conclude that Skye committed all the murders and then killed herself out of fear of arrest. Neil officially hands that note over to the police to secure this narrative. The next day, the university holds its Master of Arts graduation ceremony, and the students give speeches. When it is Neil's turn, she steps up and says something profound. She states that when an artist creates art with their own hands, it is not just art, their entire hidden life and secrets are buried within it. She does not confess her crimes directly in front of anyone. Meanwhile, a police officer arrives at the ceremony. Looking at him, Neil instantly understands what happened. Calvin actually survived, regained consciousness, and told everything to the police. But Neil doesn't care anymore. She calmly steps down and goes to surrender herself, finding peace in the fact that she successfully took revenge on Calvin and avenged the rest of the girls. And this movie ends here. So friends, if you liked this explanation, then please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Till then, take care, love you, bye bye.